Hey everybody, welcome to Planet Earth. Mr. H hanging out here with you. How you doing, huh? Oh, it's Friday, so we're off to a pretty good start. I hope you had a fantastic week. I had a pretty good one. Didn't have a lot to do, but you know how that turns out, right? One week you don't have anything, next week it's a tidal wave. So just enjoy it while you can. Well, I found some time to read this Harry Turtledove series called The War That Came Early. It's 6 books. This isn't the first one. I'm showing this one. I think it's the best looking title. Let me give you a bit of advice right off the bat. Don't buy this book. Don't buy this series. I mean, I'm a big fan of Harry Turtledove's work, but this was not a good one, man. I don't know what went wrong here, but something definitely they missed the mark. I'm not sure what the plan was on this one. He did a fantastic job on timeline 191. That's where the Confederacy does not lose the orders before Antietam. They end up winning the war, unfortunately, and then we have 80 years and 4 wars between the U.S. and Confederate States, and 2 world wars and everything. That's a good one. That's classic. That's up there with Tolkien, right? But this one, yeah, I don't know what happened, man. Talking about bobbling the balls. This is definitely the Cleveland Browns, all right, of alternate history here. This one just not good. Maybe I'm being harsh, but it's just not good. I'm out here looking out for you. All right, here's the premise of the whole thing. All right, in 1938, real world here, Germany, you know what they're up to with Hitler and everything, trying to unite all the Germanic people in one big Germanic Reich. Here's the Sudetenland, right over here. Belongs to Czechoslovakia. A lot of Germans living there, Germany claiming they're oppressed, etc., etc. And we got the whole Munich crisis. France, Britain, Italy, Germany meet in Munich. Czechoslovakia is not invited. And they agree that Czechoslovakia has to hand over the Sudetenland. This is insane because it's mountainous territory, it's good defensive terrain. Yes, they are surrounded from 3 sides. They got the vice right here, but the mountains at least give them a chance. And this is Adolf, so I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be the end of it if you hand them, Sudetenland. Of course, you know, following events are going to prove that to be true. Now, in this book, our friend Adolf, never the most stable guy, apparently lost his mind because Czechoslovakia did not immediately hand over the land, and he declares war against Czechoslovakia. Germany's army in 1938 is not ready. Right? The Panzer III that you saw, the book cover I showed you, is not ready to go. They got a Panzer II that's going to be relegated to training once the war starts. And, Czechoslovakia tries to fight. Now, I don't know if Germany in 1938 can overcome Czech resistance in those mountains, but they do in this book. Okay, and what's Czechoslovakia do? First, they're going to blow up the Skoda automotive works over there. We're going to make a lot of tanks. Whereas in 1939, Hitler got them, unscathed. So Germany does that. All right, I'll give you that one. Fine, move the story along. But then, that's where it goes off the rails, because here's the two major problems I have with this. Okay, first of all, when you read the book, you start seeing the same phrases and paragraphs over and over. Yeah, when you have an author writes a ton of series, you're going to see that. You're going to see a few phrases that pop up over and over. You, me, everybody's got their phrases they use. But he was using entire passages and pages even that I recognized from the other series, TL9 or 191, and he just changed the names of people. Right, and the same sort of characters too. So that seemed kind of lazy to me, cut and pasting the whole thing, right? Then the other thing I don't like is that the scenario became increasingly unrealistic. If you're going to write something, it's got to be realistic, especially if it's alternate history, right? And it was not realistic. The more it went on, the more allowances I had to give it until I finally just gave up and stopped reading it. In fact, I looked it up on Wikipedia to see how it all ended, right? So here's what went wrong. So apparently, he declares war on Czechoslovakia, also against France and Britain. Okay, France and Britain don't do anything while he's attacking Czechoslovakia, so I guess that's realistic, right? Flattens Czechoslovakia, and then declares war against the Soviet Union. Poland and the Soviet Union are at war, so Germany decides to intervene. So now Germany is here in Poland fighting against the Soviet Union, and they've declared war against Britain and France. All right, this is a really big leap, but I decided to keep going with it. But here's the major issue I have with that. Okay, what is the one thing the Germans were absolutely terrified of during the Second World War? Right? Just like the first one, they got caught on that two front thing. There's no way Germany willingly would want to fight on two fronts. In real life, they knocked off France and up standing across the water at Britain. The reason they invaded the Soviet Union is because Adolf thought he could knock off the Soviet Union in 6 weeks, and it didn't happen. All right, so it's a two-front war, but that wasn't, deliberate. They thought it was going to be over real quick. He took a gamble and lost. Now, in this particular scenario, he has willingly plunged into a two-front war when he's not ready for it. So that's already unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to take another leap here just because of my faith in Harry Turtledove. Now, as the war is going on, he tries the old Van Schlieffen thing again, coming down through the down through Belgium and and all this, Belgium and Netherlands. And just like the first time, they get stuck in front of France. They get stuck in front of Paris. So now they're stuck. We got the two-front war that I know they wouldn't plunge into. You try the exact von Schlieffen plan again, which the French and British are waiting for. And guess what? It didn't work the first time. It's not going to work the second time. So not very well thought out, which is not how the German general staff was operating back then. Okay, and then it gets even weirder. He makes peace with Britain and France, and then tells Britain and then encourages France and Britain to join him in a war against the Soviet Union. See, it just keeps getting more and more unrealistic. So now we got French and British forces coming here through Germany to fight on the Eastern Front alongside the Germans, who you just fought 30 minutes ago, against the Soviet Union. And then this is the one that ended it for me right here. It's a book, one of the books in the series called The Big Switch. They switch, and then they switch back again. Suddenly, France and Britain go back to war against Germany. Okay, that's not going to happen, man. I could understand they decide to make peace with Germany, let the Germans and Russians destroy each other. That would be somewhat believable. But now they switch back again, and here's another one. How did they get back? All right, they got soldiers over here, at least 4 British divisions. I don't know how many French. So they turn around and start fighting from here. Yeah, I mean, it'd be very hard because they use different weapons in the Soviet Union. All right, so suddenly they're back here. How did they get back to the Western Front? And by the way, British and French supply people are here. You just signed those people's death warrant, man. You know? I mean, the whole thing. So how did they get back? Did they use the one rail line to Archangel to come sailing all the way back around here and redeploy? By the way, did you forget the German U-boats out here? They do it through the Mediterranean. Again, U-boats waiting for them out here, even in the Med. That's when I gave up reading it. All right, that's just too many leaps and benefits of the doubt I had to give there, right? Let me give a drink right here. So that's why I just stopped. I just stopped reading at that point, man. Okay, lost me there. Now, how did the war end? I had to look at Wikipedia because I just wasn't going to read the rest of this. Fortunately, I checked out of the library. Now, there's a coup against Hitler, Operation Valkyrie. Apparently it works. And instead of the Nazi beast getting crushed between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union, we've got ourselves some kind of nationalistic right-wing, but not Nazi government that's alive and well in a intact Germany. I don't think that would have happened either, because once this thing got started, man, there's no way excuse me, that the West or the Soviet Union was going to allow a resurgent Germany to even have a ghost of a chance of possibly doing this a third time. This is the way it was going to end, one way or the other. Excuse me. So, sorry, Harry Turtledove, you missed on this one, man. I don't know what happened, but not the best effort. Instead, read a book that's called Heaven Steel. Because say what you will, it's my book. I wrote it. For better or for worse, it's mine. There's no lazy reprints. I get $1 if you buy it on Lulu.com. It's a fantastic story if you like medieval combat and combination of Sword of Shannara and Red Storm Rising. You know, that's kind of what you're going to get here. It's also a fantastic paperweight if you don't like it. Regift potential is unbelievable. So check it out if you can. Lulu.com, Mr. H plugging his book. Hey, look at this. Snout shield. Yeah, it's not the, as you guessed, it's the fish, right? How you say this again? Now I'm trying to get Aspidorhynchus. There we are. Snout shield. It's not the grandest fish of all. It's not really fantastic or particularly impressive. But man, we learn so much about what life was like in the Jurassic seas this thing lived in. Because of this fossil right here. He's jumping out of the water, pulled down, Rhamphorhynchus, pulled it down into the briny depths. And then we don't know what happened. Somehow these guys end up getting caught in the sediment, asphyxiated. We're not sure. But this, we learned so much. We learned about what life was like back then, what ate who, how animals behaved, what they looked like. Look at this. This is a really good impression. We could tell the kind of scales, know exactly what it looks like. There's the snout. And if we blow it up around here a little bit more, look at that. Rhamphorhynchus here has a small fish in its throat just before Snout Shield jumped up and pulled him down into the water. How about that? So we know Rhamphorhynchus, it's flying, so it had to be flying across the glassy surface of the ocean, scooping up small fish. And as it was scooping up a small fish, our friend Snout Shield came up, grabbed him by the neck, and pulled him down into the water. Still see that today. Just shows you life was brutish, nasty, and short back in the Jurassic. Yeah, that's a little bit better picture, kind of show you what's going on. Got all three of our players here, huh? Got a hat trick. Got the fish, got Rhamphorhynchus, got Snout Shield here. Looks like he's going to miss over here, but well, we don't know 100%. Now, it wasn't the biggest fish, like I said, not the grandest. All right, this is about the size, but Rhamphorhynchus wasn't very big either, so he could probably pull it down into the water. Certainly not a threat to a human being. If you find yourself swimming around in the Jurassic seas, you have much worse things to worry about. Here's a better picture of all three of our players here. See, fossils, predation events usually feature two. We got three for this one. So we got our money's worth. Rhamphorhynchus, Snout Shield, there's that fish over there. Have you ever had a Super Bowl with such a lack of buzz? I mean, there seems to be no interest in this game this year. Super Bowl 59. Can you believe it? 59 of these things. So they're down in New Orleans this year. Doesn't seem to be all that exciting, but they're going to play the game anyway. Kansas City versus Philadelphia. It's kind of important because no team's ever won 3 in a row, and KC's trying to be the first one. This matchup look kind of familiar? Yeah, it should look familiar. They played 2 years ago in Arizona. Kansas City won that. Chiefs won in 2019 against the Niners, and they lost to Tampa Bay in 2020. And 2021 they beat I'm sorry, 2022, sorry. They beat the Eagles. 2023 it was against Niners, and here they are with this one again against Philadelphia. I liked it better than they played in Arizona because you can see it's a grass field at least, but they're playing in New Orleans, and well, there's going to be a huge party one way or the other because it's New Orleans. Chiefs looking for their third straight win. Kansas City looking for third win, and the Eagles are looking for revenge. Now the smart money's on Kansas City, but I don't know, man. Philadelphia, you can't underestimate the revenge motive, especially when Philadelphia is involved. So I'm going to go with the Eagles in the upset out of just sheer spite more than anything else. And maybe, just maybe, sometime before the turn of the next century, the Steelers will be in the Super Bowl again. You guys have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you next time. Don't forget to like or subscribe, and das vidanya.